Straight ahead on WBKB, President Biden makes a stop in the United Kingdom during his first trip abroad.
Plus, a $250 million plan for Michigan state parks and what the Better Business Bureau says about scams.
You are watching Thunder Bay News Network. WBKB News at 6 starts now.
This is WBKB News at 6. An in-depth look at news, weather, and sports. From hard-hitting news stories to local events, we're there with coverage you can count on. You're watching WBKB News at 6.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Tyler Cruz.
And I'm Sherry Stewart. Today, President Biden said the U.S. will provide 500 million vaccines to countries around the world.
The announcement came on the second day of his first overseas trip, where he met with British Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Skylar Henry has more from the White House.
President Biden made his last statement of the day in Cornwall, England, to announce the U.S. will provide 500 million Pfizer vaccine doses to low-income countries around the world.
This is about our responsibility, our humanitarian obligation to save as many lives as we can.
The doses will cost $3.5 billion. President Biden says the U.S. will start delivering the first 200 million doses in August. The additional 300 million will be shipped next year.
We're doing this to save lives, to end this pandemic. That's it, period.
We're excited to see you.
Earlier in the day, the president met with British Prime Minister Boris Johnson for more than an hour. They discussed easing coronavirus travel restrictions between the two countries and signed a new Atlantic Charter.
We affirmed the special relationship, as is not said lightly, the special relationship between our people.
The president still has the most important meetings of this trip ahead of him. The G7 summit begins tomorrow, and he's scheduled to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin next week. The First Lady says he's ready.
Oh my gosh, he's over-prepared.
Inside this manor house overlooking Lake Geneva in Switzerland, the president plans to discuss cyber attacks with President Putin, as well as arms control, the Ukraine, and climate change. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
Governor Whitmer was in the UP Thursday to announce an investment in state parks. Whitmer plans to invest $250 million into state parks and trails, aiming to boost tourism in Michigan. The investment comes from the president's American Rescue Plan, and it also plans to address the backlog of park and infrastructure projects. Whitmer said, quote, investments in our public spaces are critical components of our seasonal and rural economies, end quote. Here's meteorologist Ellie Morrison with a first check of the weather. Ellie, you agree with me now, we do need some rain.
Yeah, Tyler, we're seeing increasing drought conditions throughout northern Michigan, so we really need any rain we can get. All we've got is one little shower just south of Mayo. Elsewhere, it's dry. Clear sky 73 in Alpena, significantly warmer to the west of the shoreline, 87 in Gaylord. Blue sky overhead, and not much in the way of any rain today with the sunshine that we have been seeing. But then as we go later on into tonight, we will have a small chance of isolated showers. Tomorrow morning, the chance of showers, potentially even thunderstorms, picks up. And we will continue to have chances of scattered showers and thunderstorms throughout tomorrow morning and afternoon. I'll let you know about any more chances of rain in the forecast and when we have some colder temperatures moving in coming up later in the program.
Thank you for that, Ellie. We'll see you shortly. If it's too good to be true, it usually is. That's an important reminder from the Better Business Bureau for anyone who thinks they may have won a sweepstakes or lottery prize. The Better Business Bureau says people over age 55 are the primary target of sweepstakes, lottery, and prize scams. On average, most lose $1,000 or more before they realize they've been taken for a ride.
One of the big reasons that so many of these victims get kind of sucked in and are losing on average almost $1,000 a piece is because these scammers, they're smart. They are using tactics to almost create a friendship with the victims. We had an incident in Michigan where a woman received a Facebook message from a fake profile that looked very similar to one of her friends. And that person said, hey, I won this Facebook contest and I won all this money. You should check and see if you won too. So the woman, looked it up and said, oh yeah, look, I won too. And all the contest asked for was for her to send them some money to pay for some processing fees, shipping and handling, stuff like that. So she did. And then that's kind of how it started to spiral.
The BBB says that's one of the telltale signs. Legitimate lotteries or sweepstakes will never ask you for money to claim your prize.
One of the biggest red flags is legitimate companies like the Michigan Lottery and Publishers Clearinghouse. They will never, ever reach out to you, ever. You can reach out to them to see if you've won, but they will never come to you. The only way you are going to win money from Publishers Clearinghouse and know about it is if they show up at your door with the giant check.
If you think you have been the target of a scam, contact your local Better Business Bureau or the Federal Trade Commission for help. And one more thing to note, scammers may try reaching you through phone calls, email, social media, notices in the mail, and even text messages.
It's important to know.
Yeah.
2 assistant principals set to start at Alpena High bring key attributes to the table. Jesse Pattison and Mike Buckinger start their roles as assistant principals for the 2021-22 school year. Pattison taught math and science for 7 years. He brings a strong understanding of AHS's current system. And Buckinger comes from Oscoda High, where he served as an assistant principal for 2 years. He also has K-12 special education experience from all the way in Alaska and at home in Northeast Michigan. Alpena High School expressed excitement about the 2 joining their team.
Nice.
Yeah, congratulations.
The pandemic has led to a gardening boom. According to one survey, 20 million Americans are planting a vegetable garden for the first time or beginning to shop their local farmers markets. WBKB's Tiffany Maddox joins us from Mishikiwas Park with more.
For the past few weeks, I have been shopping for produce just like this at the Alpena Farmers Market every weekend. And it seems like every time that I show up, the crowd has gotten larger and larger. Officials from the Alpena Farmers Market say that as the weather gets even warmer, they're expecting more people, and of course, that's all for a good reason. A new survey shows that more Americans are growing their own produce or shopping at their local farmers market since the pandemic began. Local artists, farmers, and business owners come from Alpena, Alcona, Montmorency, Presqu'île, and Oscoda counties with the goods. Officials from Alpena's farmers market say they are more than ready for the anticipated crowds.
We are prepared for larger crowds. Presently, we have right now about 25 vendors coming to the market on Saturdays. People are more health conscious, trying to self-distance, staying away from processed foods, and therefore they are either growing or shopping at local farmers markets.
The Alpena Farmers Market is open every Saturday and eventually on Wednesdays from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. right here at Mishikiwas Park. Reporting in Alpena, Tiffany Maddox, WBKB News.
That's awesome. I actually started a garden for the first time last summer.
Did you? What'd you plant?
Yeah. Tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, zucchini. The peppers were good. I made my own chili, but nothing beats a fresh tomato.
Oh, absolutely. Certainly from the farmers market.
Oh, yeah.
The best.
Well, after not being able to perform last summer, the Alpena Blues Festival is back for its 17th year and with a very unique lineup. WBKB met with one performer about what they're bringing downtown this summer. The pandemic, taking a lot of the fun out of last summer, gave me, and probably a lot of you, the blues. But the blues are back in Alpena this year, and this time, it's in a good way.
This year, it's going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread, man. Everybody wants to get out, everybody wants to do stuff, and we got just the place for you to be and just the outlet.
The 17th annual Alpena Blues Festival will be called Ladies of the Blues and will take place at the usual venue in downtown Alpena. And with outdoor COVID restrictions lifted in Michigan, it will look a lot like this festival from 2019, normal again.
So we're doing it with a vengeance this year, I guess you could say. It's all going to be good, man.
The Blues Festival had the goal of highlighting ladies of the blues because of their importance to the genre.
Women in the blues is a big deal, and we like to showcase them this year. So that's why we're doing it. There's just this thing about it. People wanted to see more women playing, so we decided to give them all they could handle.
Rose, or the Psycho Man, also says the festival is trying to stamp out hunger and asks all those who come to bring a canned good for donation.
We give these in turn to the local soup kitchens who provide them with people that need this food. So help us stamp out hunger with the blues. We're trying to do something good for our community.
Tickets are $30 at the door and can also be purchased online. For more information on the festival, you can find this story at WBKB11.com. That looks like a blast.
Now that looks like fun.
I can't wait to go this year. Are you a blues fan?
I actually am.
When my dad and I were coming home from church on Sunday morning, he'd put on the blues, called Sunday Morning Blues. It was a blast.
Like it.
More news ahead for you here on WBKB. Coming up, catch part of our Mornings in the Sanctuary segment from earlier, and meteorologist Ellie Morrison has your 7-day forecast next.
So we certainly need the rain. Drought conditions are getting worse, especially in two parts of Alpena and Iosco counties. So I'm sure that especially people who either have plants or have vegetation are looking forward to finally seeing some of those rain showers moving in.
One day later, I call for rain today, and there's no problem.
Oh my.
And today's photo was sent in by Joy Claridge. She shows us a snapshot of this morning's solar eclipse. The next solar eclipse will happen in April 2024. Thank you, Joy, for sharing this photo with us. If you have a photo such as nature shots, pics with friends, or interesting sights you see that you'd like to send us, email it along with a short description to news@WBKB11.com.
I didn't even have to wake up this morning. I just had to check the emails. We got so many pictures of that.
Did.
It was beautiful, it looked like.
That's a beautiful one.
Coming up on WBKB News, how you can get rid of old electronics this weekend, and Jake Vanderbrook will have the latest in sports. Stay tuned. Welcome back. If you missed today's Mornings in the Sanctuary segment earlier, WBKB's Tiffany Maddox spoke with Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary about their upcoming summer research.
There's an upcoming research project called Alpena Amberley Ridge, as well as other projects coming up as well. Kind of tell me what the Alpena Amberley Ridge project is about.
Well, it's summertime, so the researchers are coming to Alpena to do a bunch of work. And when we think of the sanctuary, we immediately think of the shipwrecks and all the archaeologists and the historians come that. But there's a lot of other research that we do right now, and this research that we're doing right now is absolutely fascinating. Lake Huron changed. It wasn't always the same as it was as we think today, and at one point the water levels were so low that there was a bridge. Lake Huron was actually two lakes, and there was a bridge that went from about North Point all the way across to Canada. And there's an incredible researcher, John O'Shea out of University of Michigan, that believes that prehistoric people used to use that ridge to hunt caribou. And he's out exploring in several hundred feet of water, about 100 feet of water out there, looking for prehistoric sites, archaeological sites of humans from about 9,000 years ago. It's absolutely amazing. So what we're doing right now is we're mapping that area. And we've talked about mapping before and how little we know about Lake Huron. And our team's been out there living on a boat 24 hours for 10 days in a row, going back and forth mapping the bottom of the lake to better understand what's going on in the lake, and that will help Dr. O'Shea determine where he's going to look for these prehistoric sites.
That is super interesting. Yeah. Wow. So can people participate? Can they follow along, or how can they
we
kind
have
of get
tons of information on our website, thunderbay.noaa.gov, or on our social media. Just search Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary and you can find some information about this.
That looks really cool.
Fascinating, right?
It's always interesting what's under there, you know?
For sure.
That's awesome.
The Alpena Resource Recovery Facility is looking for help. The facility wants volunteers to help unload cars at this Saturday's Electronics Recycling Day. They also made a slight change to the traffic flow. Now, drivers will both enter and exit through the main gate at the Alpena County Fairgrounds. They will accept laptops, printers, and many other devices. You can find the details as well as the number to call if you want to volunteer on our Facebook page.
Sports is coming up next, but first, Jake Vanderbrook is in with a preview. Jake, what do you got for us tonight?
Hey, Tyler, Sherry, Ellie, and to all of you watching Nexus Sports, we have your top play of the week. You don't want to miss that. And from baseball to softball, we made the trip out to Hillman as the Tigers prepare for regionals on Saturday. More on this up next.
Thank you for watching WBKB News at 6.
You can visit WBKB11.com for sports, weather, and news updates anytime, day or night. And check us out on our Facebook page and Twitter handle at WBKB11.
Join us tonight for WBKB News at 11 with Stephanie Manici. Have a great evening.